What does it mean to be dominant? I've played at the highest level. I've received the highest award.
Thank you.
But those things did not make me dominant. On this show, I want to interview people from various backgrounds and careers to see what made them dominant. That's why I decided to partner up with Mission Winnow. Together, we want to promote progress and achievement while sharing real stories of struggle and success. We want to acknowledge the challenges in front of us, but we also want to pivot towards improvement and positivity.
Everything is going to work out.
We are the dominant ones. We dunk on the world. We don't let the world dunk on us. You would have made a great point guard.
Really?
Because point guards have to talk.
Yep.
To get everybody involved.
All right, y'all. Let's
You
do
know,
this.
And you love to travel, so you
love
all
to
around.
travel and you talk. Oh man,
You all
be the
around.
perfect point
Oh, for
guard.
real?
You're Magic Johnson of your business. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Hat on top cause we think excellent. Frames on straight cause I see excellent. Dress for success cause I be excellent. Everything we do, everything we do.
Hey.
How you doing?
How are you, Dominique?
Good to see you. Francesca, first of all, thanks for coming. I appreciate you coming to my home
Thank
and
you.
being on the show. And just so you know, the show is called The Dominant One. And what The Dominant Ones is really talking about people's experiences in life, not so much about winning and losing. Everybody gets so caught up in winning and losing, but this is about some of your setbacks and triumphs and what it really took for you to get to this level. So my first question for you is, how did you get into the media world, broadcasting, and really creating all this great content that you've created, over time?
Well, so right now I am an entertainment anchor for NBC's Atlanta show, Morning Rush on 11 Alive. And I love what I do because I carved it out myself. However, I didn't always want to be on television. I didn't always want to do media. Believe it or not, as a child, I always liked to talk.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I know it's shocking,
It's
but I
shocking.
was very vibrant and I was very talkative as a child. I would always get in trouble, and I went to school right here in Atlanta. But when I graduated from Chamblee High School, I said, okay, I used my mock trial experience, and that was me basically being a pretend lawyer in high school. And I said, okay, it's time to study law. So when I went to Vanderbilt University, I knew that law was my track. I needed to study poli-sci. I loved to learn about cases and then argue them. My father studied law, so it was just kind of in me to be not necessarily combative, but to be the voice of a person. To be the voice of the person and to articulate it in such a way that we could win the case. So I get to Vanderbilt, and it's so crazy how the world works, because God puts people in your life that tells you a gift that you have that you didn't realize, a gift that you should open up and invest in. And Professor English was his name at Vanderbilt University, and I literally hated Professor English because he was known as the scary professor. You'd go to ratemyprofessor.com and you would see his rating was like, he looks at you and you want to melt, or he gives out F's and he smiles with them, So I was so scared to take his class, but Professor English, it was a public speaking class. And I would do my thing, speech 1, speech 2. And by speech 3, he said, you have a knack for this. You have a gift getting up there and you command a presence, and we enjoy your storytelling. I'm like, all right, I kind of dismissed it. Then one day he said, I'm forming Vanderbilt Television. Channel 6, Vanderbilt. It would broadcast, closed circuit in the university and a small channel in Nashville. And I said, okay, I could do that. I'll help, thinking nothing of it. I got involved with Vanderbilt Television and began going around Nashville with like this tiny little recorder and asking people about their stories and showing our viewers, our students, like small museums or things that were happening in Nashville. And that's when I learned, oh my gosh, storytelling is lit, it's fun, and I can show people the cool and awesome things that I encounter by just filming it and telling the world about it. And that's where that reporting and that storytelling excitement came from.
Well, I can see that in you. You could be a very interesting storyteller. People who are And I always say that who a people's person,
Yeah.
type of person, that it's easy to tell stories. I mean, because I'm the same way, you
Yeah.
know. You probably can't tell I like to talk, but anyway, you know, this is something that I was very passionate about. So, you know, hearing your story and seeing some of the things that you're doing, it takes a lot of time, effort, and patience in what you do. And I see you all over the place. And when did you know that you were good at this?
I realized it when I got my first job out of college. First and foremost, that was a story within itself, but I'll wait until you ask me about my trials and tribulations, because that's one story that I share everywhere. But I realized that I was good at it when I was in Lansing, Michigan, and our fans, our viewers for little old Lansing, Michigan, they would email me and say, I could feel myself in that hot air balloon that you were reporting from. I could feel myself on those ski slopes. When I speak about an experience, or when I tell people about what I'm going through, or the experience that I'm going through on television, when I do those live shots on TV, when you feel like you're in the moment, you've done something right. When the viewer that you're talking to feels like they are there with you, that's when you are doing something right and you're heading in the right direction.
Right.
And it was also when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, and it was this case where about 50 homes were built on a landfill. And these people, literally, it was homes that were built by like Habitat for Humanity at the time. And they're a great organization, but I think what they didn't realize was the homes were built on a landfill. And so long story short, those people were their legs started to itch. They started to develop cancer. They started getting sick. And I realized that their education was not there, and I was their voice. And I was the person who had to continue that investigation on and to fight with the city of Jacksonville to try to bring about some type of change and bring awareness to them. And their thank yous, their tears, that's when I realized, wow, like there's power in reporting and there's power in storytelling.
Well, it really is, because, you know, people want to know that somebody can, you know, when you don't have the education to fight for yourself, they want to have someone who can be their champion. Yeah. And I find that giving back to people is the most rewarding thing. And that's how I live my life. Giving back as much as I can. If I can see a smile, or I can help someone make a lifestyle change or decision, or give them an opportunity to be better than themselves. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I think we have a responsibility to help people help themselves. So I really applaud what you're doing. And all the great work that you've done, what are some of the setbacks when you almost say, you know what, I don't know if I could do this?
There was a point in my life, and I'll go through this pretty quickly. You know, I graduated from Chamblee High School in Atlanta, Georgia, president of my class, prom queen, homecoming court, was president every single year, right, from 9th grade to 12th grade. Jumped to Vanderbilt University, practically full rides, right, on scholarship, for academic scholarship. And I'm at Vanderbilt, I'm president of my sorority. I do 12 internships in the TV industry. I thought I was hot. You know what? I'm like, yeah, like soon as I graduate, boom, I got this. Boom. I would say I was really privileged. And I had never had a downfall. I had never had a setback until I graduated from Vanderbilt University and applied for jobs. And I heard from no one.
That's stepping into the real world.
No one.
Yeah.
And it was the most depressing part of my life. 13 months, I sent out email after email, practically begging news directors to just look at my tape, look at my reel, and no one gave me a chance. It was as if no one wanted me, and that all the hard work that I put into school, I was like, God, you just basically said that doesn't matter. And I'm thinking, God, did you forget about me? And I realized that in that time frame, I went to go work with my dad. I humbled myself because I was like, I don't want to work at a cemetery. So I worked with my dad at the cemetery. I also went to New York for a couple of months to just try to apply while I was there. And thank goodness my parents could afford to send me there. No bites, no nothing. But 13 months later, someone saw something in me that the rest of the news directors did not see. And they gave me my first job, Jam Sardar, thank you, in Lansing, Michigan, the news director there. But it was an experience that I needed. I needed to be knocked down and to see the real world. Because I felt so high and mighty. And what was I, like 21, 22? And that's not how the real world works. You could be great, but when it's not your time or when something's not for you, failure is the option, and failure happens, and it's okay. But the key there was you have to continue to persist. You have to continue to put forth effort.
Yeah.
You can't just say, I didn't get the job. It's not the industry for me.
You can never quit. You
can't.
can never quit because, and I used to tell my son all the time, when you fail, and say at the age that you are right now, son, I said, it's okay because it helps build character and it prepares you for the real world. I said, it's the same thing when you're performing in professional sports or you're performing in high school. I said, everything is a process, but if you give up on the process, you cheat yourself.
Yes.
And I said, your dad has never quit at anything he's ever done. And so I've had more setbacks than most, but what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And I really believe that. So you had that very persistent attitude. Hey, we all go through setbacks. It's what you do with those setbacks that counts.
And it creates something in you, right? Maybe in your life, you were angry. During those setbacks, maybe you questioned who you were, if you were right for the industry. You became angry, but you used that as fuel. I was like, to hell with you. To hell with you if you don't think I'm good enough.
Use it as fuel to prove them wrong.
Boom.
And I've done that my whole life. I've been on my own since I was 12 years old. I've been a man in the house since I was 12. I've been on my own since I was 16. So I've been through it. So I understand it. And I really realize to understand what you went through, especially as a young lady, because people are afraid of what they don't understand, especially for a powerful woman who has a mission that she's on and believe in herself. People are afraid of that, But your persistence got you to this point, never giving up, never quitting. And that's the essence of building a real person, a real woman or man, is to stay the course no matter what.
And don't wait for the answer, yes, from someone else. I realized that. That's my biggest regret, I would say. I waited and hoped and didn't do things on my own Instagram. I could have been on my own little phone doing a news clip every single day, doing my own 1-minute version of Hot Topics like Wendy Williams does. I could have been doing that when I graduated. I could have been putting myself out there every single day until someone saw me, but I did not. And that's what I challenge people to do. Don't wait for someone to say yes to you. Create your own miniature opportunity and blast it every single day.
You said something very telling too, because growing up, people are telling you all the time what you can't do, what you'll never be. And I've heard that my whole young life, that I would never be anything, but I used it all as fuel to prove them wrong. And I've proven people wrong up until the time I came into the NBA.
See?
But it was rewarding for me because there's nothing better than being successful.
I don't need to do nothing else.
You can show a look off if you want to. Look all right, yo. Your friend?
Oh, yeah.
A little one? Okay, here we go.
We good. You traveling.
Okay, I'm traveling.
She better get that.
It's called the shuffle.
Oh, my goodness.
Here we go.
Yeah, go.
Oh,
there it is.
Count now.
Don't count me out.
So if you had to go back and tell that little girl or give her some advice, what would you tell your younger self?
Start sooner. Embrace the trait that you may feel is too much. You're never too much for the world. I was very vocal. I was very headstrong. Don't make sure the traits aren't negative, but use those, foster them, package them up, and see where you can excel with those. Because had I started earlier at age 13 doing my own small YouTube show, then who knows where I would be, instead of realizing my potential and realizing my uniqueness at age 25.
But it's happening now for a reason. And I look at what you're doing and what you're building. I mean, your content base is pretty much off the charts.
Thank you.
In what you're doing. I'm really proud of what you're doing, by the way.
Thank you, Tom.
And so you got to look at your life and say, okay, what's next for me? What's my next big move? What's my next big thing in my career? So what is that for you?
Well, I don't know if I can. Now
I know it's a wide
range. Now you're trying to make me
range.
breach a contract here. Hold on, no. So it's pretty crazy because I never thought. I've never been one of those reporters or anchors that wanted to go back to their hometown and be like there. But when I tell you, it is the most rewarding thing for mom and dad to turn on that TV and see their daughter. I say daughter. My mom says daughter, and I always tell her don't do that.
That's okay.
Daughter.
It's
So it's crazy for my parents to turn on the TV and see their daughter every single morning, and they're so proud. So this is one of my biggest excitements, right? I signed a 3-year contract at NBC Atlanta, 11 Alive, and every single day they watch Morning Rush, and I'm just like, is there a day y'all don't miss? And they make fun of
See, now you're gonna make me watch it.
Oh, you have to. We have so much fun, and they're just so proud seeing their daughter, battling on different issues and what have you on the show. But as far as next, I never thought. I'm not gonna say I never thought, but I'll just say it. I never thought that I would be in Atlanta pioneering the way entertainment news is delivered. I created Lights Camera Atlanta, which is a franchise that tells people about casting calls, celebrities who are here in town, and takes them literally behind the scenes. It's like its own miniature e-news or its own miniature Entertainment Tonight. And then it turned into the A scene because my company got behind me after I pitched it, and they saw something in it, and they realized there's a niche because after all, Georgia, Atlanta is the Hollywood of the South, as people call it. It is booming with money in the entertainment industry. However, now that I have created the A scene, which is this fantastic franchise, and it really does let people feel like they're in the entertainment world, I don't know exactly what's next. Maybe it will be my own show. I would love for that to be manifested. The A scene show, which is the first
you're doing
entertainment
something
show.
right. You've been voted for 3 Emmys.
Oh,
You see
yeah.
the 3 Emmys.
Yes.
That says a lot.
Let me.
That
I
says a
brought.
lot.
So I.
Well, why not?
Hold on.
Let us see it.
I said, let me bring my friends. A little, because not many people say that they have seen an Emmy in real
Right.
life. And this is my first, not just my first Emmy, but in one night, I got 3. And I was like, so let me show you because I'm still excited. I'm still excited. I only brought 2 of them with me
Right.
because they could only fit in the bag.
Wow.
But this is how they
Look
look.
at you.
This is how they look. That's how an Emmy looks, and that's the little box for it.
You want to keep one here?
All right now. I worked hard for these babies. Yeah.
This is great.
This
man.
is this is how they look. They're that heavy.
Wow. Look at that. Wonderful.
So
You should be really proud of yourself.
I am.
I mean, this is a heck of a feat
I'm
to
very
reach, and especially in our business, to receive one of these is very, very special because they're not easy to get.
No.
So you have to build. You've built such a great following and a great, I would say, chemistry with people. Within the city. I mean, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Becoming a household name around here.
Wow. That's an honor, especially to hear you say that.
Oh, it's true. I mean, look, it's something to come across my feed every day with you. I'm like, where is she now? Okay, she's in Paris. Okay, she's in China. She's in Spain. I'm like, wow, she's traveling all over the place, and I think that's wonderful. So if I had to ask you to describe dominance, how would you describe it in your life?
Taking hold and taking charge of who you are and embracing it. You asked me when I was a little girl, what would I have told my former self? It's okay to be uniquely you in a world where it is all about the likes and putting out this persona of who you are. Instagram and Facebook has ruined who people actually are. And so they try so hard to be this fake whatever that they're only 10% of the time. They try to, put that out there, and it's okay to embrace your failures. So what makes me dominant is myself being my authentic self and nothing else. I don't have a good day every single day. I'm not always, quiet and soft-spoken. I'm loud, I'm boisterous, and when I'm passionate about something, I don't care if I am vocally and I'm loud with it. You don't need anyone's validation but yourself. We just had the grand opening of Tyler Perry Studios in town. Everyone was talking about that. And for some reason, I've been so successful in my own right, but it took Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey coming over for me to feel like, okay, I finally arrived. I finally got, this is the interview. But no, it's what you do and it's how you make people feel. That's what makes you dominant. That's what makes you great. It's how you use your gift to help other people advance. Just because you talk to The Rock, Dominique, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, just because you talk to all these celebs that people just like to celebrate does not mean that I'm doing better work than other people. It's the woman who's down at the Salvation Army. It's the person who's at United Way trying to give back, pull
What's the
back.
sacrifices that you make that help you get to that level? And you gotta start down here before you can get here. I tell people, you gotta crawl before you can run. But you got to be willing, organically willing to talk to people, normal people, and see how their lives are and how you give back to those people. And that's how I live my life every day, giving back, teaching people how to make lifestyle changes. So thank you. I really appreciate you
so
coming.
much.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot,
for
sweetie.
inviting me into your
My
home.
pleasure. My pleasure. I'm going to be watching you quite a bit now.
You better.
Since I know you now.
Uh,
That's what dominance is all about.